everyone. I know I'm getting myself back into doing content for you all. And today I figure it's a good day to really on my live diary section. I know sometimes I try to share things that are important to people and relatable with the video diaries. I'm kind of in a way where I want to be talkative lately, and I'm sure people have noticed this side of me more, more of, So I'm gonna tell you. So this is gonna be mostly about finding your happy and accepting that happened that's been happening in the real world. Now, a lot of people don't know this about me. Okay, I'm definitely one of those sensitive people. And that's something that people don't realize about me. Now, let's start with the the first part, and that is finding your happy. I've been kind of like working on that lately, and I'm sure you have noticed some new content around Memorial Day. I did like a little refresh, kind of like, okay, let's get excited about summer. So I did like a haul, and I also did like an experience almost, like experience my adventures and kind of call it my bucket list and things like that, like things to do, which is nice and motivation. Now, I just put up a short, and I think that was like yesterday. Like, I'll tell you which one it is right now, and that would be to cheer myself up a bit. That was the one that I just posted, and if I look at it, I'm just gonna pause it. So I'm gonna pause it. It says to cheer up myself a bit. Now, with that being said, I put the hashtag cheer up myself. Like, I feel like finding your happy is like knowing that things that matter to you and seeing memories and thinking about life really kind of puts things in perspective for me. And today was like one of those days where I was like, okay, I'm reflecting on this. Why am I a certain way when I want to just be my normal self? Or instead of forcing my happy, kind of be more myself and happy, you know? And I've noticed that. And I'm like, I don't want to force myself to be happy. I want to be happy because I am happy. I'm always known as a happy person. And I think it's important that, like, finding my happy is being with people I love and really doing things that make me want to be excited about and share those things and experiences that matter to me. Like, I feel like I've been kind of like keeping a lot of things on the down low, like certain things that I want to keep sacred to myself, special. But then there's things that you don't realize that are happening. And you're like, why am I this way? You know? And I'm like, maybe it's time for a change of speed. this is summertime, and for me, it's like the fun time of my life. I feel like summer is always my fun time in my life chapter, and I get to like do things out of nowhere, and I just do it, and I just like go out, be adventurous, be excited about something, be excited about going out and doing things. And I kind of, and that kind of bumps into the real world situation a little bit. It gets scary in life when the real world comes in and you don't realize it, you know? Meaning like what's happening around you, you know? Like I had something happen to me and I don't want to be public about it too much. I feel like I already had talked about it on to certain people that matter to me that want to know what happened, and I'm being careful and more protective of the things that I do, and more like sheltering myself. And maybe the sheltering side, maybe I should step away from that shelter that I kind of put myself into. You know, as much as I want to live like a private life, a lot of people do that in order to like work on themselves and or have memories that you don't want to share so much of. You know, I want to be able to have experiences for myself and not just out and about and doing all these things and when I do share it's like it's hard for me to share those moments when I'm at home and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna just do my own thing, stay in type of mood. And I think I need to get myself out more and kind of like doing things that matter to me. So, like, for me to find my happy, I always try to lean on two things. And that's A, my best friends, because I feel like they help me every day and they motivate me and they get me to see my happy side and see that side of me. And then my second one is doing things that make me happy, like hobbies that I want to spend my time doing, or activities of the day, I should call them. My activities of the day. And I think sometimes that has been showing, and I'm kind of lost in sim world a little bit, and I'm like, maybe this is just a pure sign that I just need to have fun, you know? As much as sim world is a world to kind of get myself lost in, I kind of need to get lost into a whole different side of me. Like, it's time to, like, step out of my comfort zone, do things that are fun for me, you know? So when it comes to, like, finding your happy, for me, finding my happy is really just, like, for me, like, finding ways to see more of life, experiencing things, doing things that I don't normally do and just do them and not be scared of life or nervous about people, you know? There's things that I think about when it comes to happy. my happiness always stems from finding yourself on a daily, and being happy is the most important thing, you know? And I feel like maybe lately I've been in a whole nother world and not realizing what where my life is headed, you know? And it makes me think that it's time for a change of speed here. I shared this interesting statement, and I'm gonna read this to you, okay? It says, "It's kind of fun to do the impossible." And that struck tone to me. Like, that's basically saying I need to have fun no matter what I'm doing, And I think finding your happy is having fun in life, doing things you don't normally do and just doing them. Really just kind of like discovering yourself. So, this is what I put for that. I put as my caption, "From the inner adrenaline rush, doing the impossible, and that's what I call fun. I'm that girl. Okay, nothing stops me. Hashtag mood boost. Hashtag confidence boost. Hashtag change up that energy. Hashtag it's about time. Hashtag yes, sir." Like, sometimes it's okay to do the impossible. And I feel like I need to just work on that. And I think people see me as this person that, like, I'm everybody's inspiration. I'm this, I'm that type deal. And you're like, who is this? What is this? Like, doing the impossible is more like stepping out of your comfort zone, just doing things that get me excited, you know? And I think sometimes you forget about that there's life, but then you realize that there's things that you don't normally do, and you're like, okay, I need to get myself back to reality. Like, I was doing all these great things, and then I had something happen to me where I should I should really care about this, and that's why I'm being protective of that situation. And I want to I'm working on my confidence in doing things, and I feel like that's something to do with happiness. Like, my happiness needs to be like my confidence level, and I feel like lately it's been going woo, and it needs to go woo. So we're changing this to go back up again, like the apple on the tree that grows, you know. So I was thinking about life, and it really just made me think I need to have fun. I need to show my happiness instead of like forcing it, you know. And I'm this girl that like grew up with I had a happy childhood, and I loved every minute of it. And maybe I'm just missing out on the fun things sometimes, and I forget to have fun when the real world kicks in, and you're like, oh God, what just happened? You know? And a part of me feels like it's time for a change. You know? I love being able to like talk about where my happiness is and having fun. Like, finding my happy is like making things feel good about myself and knowing that there is more to life that matters to me. I love being able to see that happiness goes a long way, and that when I'm seeking m- my confidence, building back my confidence, and for me, it's like my confidence is part of having fun. Like I want to be able to do things and not feel down on myself all the time, and and just embrace the happy when I am happy instead of thinking about the things that brought me down. And I like when I can talk about life in another light, and I want to inspire people. That's something that I'm really passionate about. Like when it comes to like confidence, I want to be able to share inspiration for other people. And lately, I've been sharing things on my Facebook. I've been more relating to my posts than than the other way around, you know? And I kind of feel sad that I'm not really inspiring others when I'm really kind of working on myself, you know? And that's okay. Like trying to build up confidence and happiness is like I'm learning. Just give me that moment, kind of like be like, okay, my happiness and confidence matters to me. And when it comes to things that happen to me in the real world, I can't let that bring me down. And that has happened. And ne- as we get to the next part, I'm going to be talking about the real world in a minute anyway, like what that is in this life. I love when I can share my inspiration for people, and I want to be able to relate to it as well. So it's like it's hard for me to relate when I'm I want my friends to be happy and my family. And a lot of people think that I'm a very good public speaker, and I want to start something on here where I actually talk about I want to start doing leadership talks, and I want to try that and see how that works for me. I love being able to share my story and thoughts on life and things like that. So I would be really good at really like remaking my find your voice leadership thing again, and I'm gonna start sharing content on that. So that'd be really cool for me to really do. And it was find your voice leadership, and it was a way for me to talk about some subjects that can help with finding your voice, basically on different subjects that really matter to me, you know? And I love being able to inspire people. So I want to bring that back to inspire people and leave the other part on working on me. You know what I mean? So yeah. So for me, finding my happy and my confidence level, I'm working on trying to be that positive role model for people that look up to me and be like, okay, she's working on herself so that way she can be a better voice for other people. You know, I want to be able to share my journey a little bit more, a little bit in a way where I'm not revealing sensitive subjects that much. And I love being able to be myself in these video diaries. You know, unfiltered video diaries is really like, it could be anything that I want to talk about and just talk about it. Instead of like forced subjects, like having kind of voice leadership is a way for me to like inspire people. And then the other ones are gonna just be for like for fun and just kind of like do that. So be on the lookout for that. So that's a project that I'm gonna be working on now. Now that we have covered that subject, we're going on to the next thing, and that is basically about the real world. So, yeah, so about the real world, I'm gonna just pop up what I just said, basically. So I'm just gonna just do just that. I'm just gonna go here, go to my email for a minute. I love being able to be myself with you guys, which is nice about things that matter to me. Now, I'm trying to get my description up and I don't know where it went, honestly. So I'm gonna try to locate it. I'm just gonna hop right here. Really accepting what's happening in the real world. Okay. How to accept what's happening in the real world. Okay, so in order for me to accept what's happening in the real world is things that happen and you don't expect them to happen, right? Okay. When it comes to the little things, like it could be anything that's happening in your town or community, or maybe it could be things that happen to you and you don't realize they're happening to you, you know? Or there's things that happen around the world and it affects you deeply. Like, let's say your ancestors, or let's say something happens in another world or a light that you see, you know. I love that I can talk about this a little bit about how the real world really affects life these days. Like, you look around and you're like trying to be independent, trying to do things, but like what's hard is that the stuff is skyrocketing, like prices and cost of living, or just doing things that you want to do, and they're like expensive nowadays. And it's like, for me, being an independent person, it's kind of hard to really do a lot of independent living things. You know what I mean? I want to be able to share that, like, thing like cost of living, um the way the community reacts to the community a bit. Like, let's say something happens in your area and you're like, wow, this actually happened, you know? And you're like, how does this work for me? Or how does this matter to me? So, for us to accept what's happening in the real world, we all know that it's hard to. I know that people are still bouncing back from the pandemic. I get that. I feel like I'm still working on that myself, like bouncing back, kind of like doing things that I missed out on and actually just doing them. So that's why if you see me like doing things that I don't normally do, and let's say I'm at my community college and I'm part of different things like creative writing club gets me writing again and getting me excited to write about any like working on writing projects. I've been doing that, working in the theater department, working on that side of the career a little bit. Like I'm doing things that I should have done my last year at Sussex. Or that's number one. Number two, things that I wanted to do as an alumni coming out of college and realizing like, wow, I really need to like work on my hobbies and also like work on things that I should have done, you know? Like I'm finally getting a chance to do the things that I wanted to do. And I feel like with the pandemic really had costed a lot of people's lives, and I feel bad. I send a lot of prayers. I'm talking about pandemic is like it really like makes you think like what we've been through. Like let's say the next generation is gonna look at us and be like, what happened during 2020? You know what I mean? And 2021. Like for me, kind of felt like a gap year and kind of like be like, okay, this is what I need to do to kind of like I I'm just trying to just do what I need to do, you know? For me, it kind of felt like a gap year for me, which is kind of weird because that never happened in my life ever. So, like, if I were to go back to college, let's say I want to do it the right way and not let things happen to me again. I don't like missing out on things, you know? I like when I can be able to, like, so let's say with the real world around us, so anything that's like accepting it, it can go both ways. Like, in order for me to accept what's happening in the real world and how people are nowadays, it's scary. And I think I don't want to be a part of that, but yet at the same time, I'm human and I want to accept people or do things that I don't normally do and be like, okay, if I can be any but different, I love being able to accept where I'm at in my life right now. And I want everyone to start accepting themselves in this real world that we're in and really know what you really want in life. I don't want to sound like it's all about me. I want to sound more like, okay, this is what's happening in the real world. How can we change the world for ourselves? And knowing our place, how to be our own voice, and how to really, really understand where we're at right now. You know, I want to be able to talk about life and how that changes us. And I feel like this is the time of our life where we should be accepting where we're at in the real world. You know, when it comes to accepting in the real world, there's a place that changes me on a daily. I want to be able to I want to be able to like learn something about life and be like, wow, okay, this is what happened, and now we can change the way we think or how we view things, how to gain your own perspective of what's around us. And we all forget what happens in the heat of the moment. And you're like, okay, how do we accept our real world and also helping others in need of help? Like I'm a very forgiving person and I like to be able to make a difference in the world and help and learn the ways of life and how to be and how to be the person you want to be and finding your happy, knowing what you want in life and having a direction and starting somewhere. I think for me, I'm definitely not fully there. I think I'm even though my even though I've been ever since the pandemic, like I've been at work. I've been part of my day program and I should say Piece by Piece family for anyone who is watching. Um Things that I do. I think those are like my main two things that I do, and then the rest, like anything fun that I see myself doing, I want to spend my time doing, you know? It's important for me to kind of like have some fun every day and kind of like, and want to be able to kind of like changing life a bit. You know what I mean? You know? I want to be able to manifest life in a way where it's like healthy for us to kind of like do things and not be scared of what life has for us. You know what I mean? Like having to like live for ourselves and accept things. And you don't really realize that this is our real world right now. And I love being able to be myself on here and talk about finding your place and finding your happy and enjoying right now. For me, since I'm working on confidence and happiness, I'm gonna leave you with this. Now, I'm gonna give you guys another quote from my photo reel on my iPad here. I'm gonna find us a very, very unique quote. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go into my photos, which is right here. I'm gonna read a very good quote for this. And I'm gonna read this one to you. Enjoy every moment of your life. And that's the quote. I'm gonna read this again to you. Enjoy every moment of your life. Now, how does that sound? That's like a really good way to end our conversation tonight. Hope all found this inspiring and really makes you think about life a little bit and to work on yourself as well while I'm working on myself. All right, love you guys. It's good to be able to talk about these things. Here's to many more and be on the many more unfiltered talks, but also be on the lookout for Find Your Voice Leadership coming soon. Love you guys. Bye.